Welcome once again into the Sports Room, the sports show that actually talks about sports on this Monday show, coming off the end of a hot NFL weekend. So much more has happened this weekend. How was your guys' weekend?
Man, my weekend was fantastic.
Was it freaking lit, dude?
It was freaking lit, bro. Hit them folks, man.
Derek?
My weekend was great.
Did you see Star Wars?
No.
Oh, I did.
Did you?
I did.
I saw it too. I'm going to see it again tonight.
No
also.
spoilers. I see it tomorrow.
Dude, I'm going to tell you everything that happened. So this is what happens. It opens. No, I'm just kidding. Did you like it, Biggen?
I did, and I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I liked the last one too. But this one was pretty good.
I heard it was like 3 hours.
It was very long. It was pretty long.
It was different. It's different from any Star Wars film that's been made, but it's good. There were parts of it that really blew me away.
Oh yeah.
There were certain scenes, parts of it that really blew me away. But I'm going to see it again tonight. And I don't really like to give a firm verdict on a movie until I see it a couple times, and so
sounds pretty cool.
How long are you going to wait before you go see it? Because you're bound to.
I'm seeing it tomorrow night.
Okay, okay, that's fine. But if you wait too long, you're bound to get a spoiler or two.
Right.
Whether on purpose or accident.
At least
just
two.
Being on Twitter, you're in severe danger of seeing a spoiler on there.
Yes.
Telling you everything that's going to happen.
You're spoiling it.
So this is what happens. Everyone dies. No, I'm just kidding. That's not
no
true.
More Star Wars. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the end. It's over. I also made a big decision this weekend.
Uh-oh.
Made a big decision.
Ooh.
I can tell by the look in your eyes. You think it's something, and it's not that. I took myself off Twitter.
Wow.
I did. I just decided. I don't know. I just felt like I needed a break from social for a little while.
Yeah.
But I swear I saw a tweet from you this weekend.
Well, it was yesterday. Yesterday during when I was at church. As a matter of fact, I was like, you know what? I need a break from this whole social media thing.
Yeah.
Deleted Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter from my phone. Didn't delete my accounts, obviously. I'm going to get back on soon. But I just
trade your iPhone in for a flip phone, or
for a Motorola Razr.
Nice.
No, I just felt like I wanted a little break from
iPhone
that.
Won't fit in the dress, or no pockets. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, whatever, dude. No, I tried to stick it down the cleavage. Wasn't good enough. So yeah, I made that big decision this weekend. It was nice. Good luck with Star Wars tomorrow.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. So much happened this weekend in sports. We were just barely talking before the show, listing off all the things that we could or wanted to talk about today, and there's no way that we could hit all of those things in a 30 to 45 minute podcast. But we're going to do the best we can to give you the best we got. We're going to start with a 2-minute drill today. 2-minute drill that actually lasts 6 minutes. We just call it a 2-minute drill because we try and go fast. Let's start the 2-minute drill here in the Sports Room with a big piece of local news. BYU finally getting off the schneid and beating University of Utah in a basketball game. Round of applause all around to everyone who might be listening.
Rise and shout, baby. Go Cougs.
First time we've beaten them. Well, we haven't beaten them in football.
Will Osborne, where you at?
We haven't beat them in football, is it seven
times we've lost.
Okay, and now this was the first time we beat them in basketball since 2012.
Yeah, they beat us the last 3 meetings.
So we didn't play last year, and then 3 years before that puts us at 2012, 2013. So yeah, finally got off the schneid there.
Coach K finally got the courage to... Coach 80K got the courage to play us.
So it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I was there. I went to the game, and it was the best BYU game I've been to in a long time.
Crowd was rocking.
Football and basketball, I'd say. Crowd was rocking.
The Marriott Center was on fire.
The Rock was into it, so it was rocking, pun intended. Marriott Center was on fire. It's great. After BYU took the lead, they never got back, and it feels good to get one.
I watched a lot of it. It just felt good to get a W. I just feel like in a lot of ways Utah has just pulled ahead of BYU. Whether we like to admit it or not, I think it's kind of true. And just to get a win in anything just felt good, I
hope it just gives the school in general some momentum rather than
some belief that maybe we can beat these guys.
We beat them. Let's keep it going. Let's beat them in football. Utah was 6-6 this year in football. In football,
yeah, they weren't.
So
very good.
I know we're not talking about football right now, but we got to get them one of those.
Just
years,
could be a positive boost to the psyche of the
I think it's more
athletes.
of in our heads that Utah's leaps and bounds ahead of us because of how bad we played this year. But in general, we had a really bad year. But other than that, the last 2 meetings have been pretty close in football. We got them in basketball. So
Cougars finally getting off the schneid. Moving on to our second topic in the 2-minute drill. Thomas Davis has been handed a 2-game suspension for his hit, his crackback block after an interception on Devontae Adams. Your reaction, Biggen?
I think it's just football. I get it. The guy's defenseless. You shouldn't crack back and hit somebody, but that's the most classic play in the game of football. You look for that crackback block. You get an interception. I know as a D lineman, we got to pick. I'm looking for somebody to crack. So it's not a good hit, but at the same time, it's football.
I think the way that he, just a couple weeks ago, Juju Smith-Schuster got suspended 1 game for a hit fairly similar to that.
Yep.
Their suspensions should have been the same. But in looking at the 2 plays side by side, Thomas Davis seemed to launch a little more directly into Devontae Adams' head, which, like you said, that might just be football, and maybe they're just policing it a little too tightly or strictly. But I did think there was a difference between the 2 hits, but I do think that the suspension should have been the same because it was the very same situation.
And Juju Smith-Schuster should have been suspended 2 more games for his celebration penalty. Which you
have beef with that. I don't know that I have very much beef with it.
I hate the Steelers anyway, and
if you don't like the Steelers, that's one thing.
Well, let's talk about this. He gets suspended a game for his hit, right? So he shows zero remorse by what he's tweeting out, what he's posting on Instagram. Then in his celebration, he stands over his teammate as if it was Vontae's birthday. Like, zero remorse. Like, that just shows, okay, what did you learn from this?
Well, I don't think he feels any remorse.
I don't either, and that's why I hate the Steelers.
I don't think he feels sorry about it at all.
Nobody feels bad for Vontae's birthday.
Yeah, no one feels bad for him. But I don't think he feels bad about it at all. And so I don't think he in any way should, be demonstrating to the public that he feels sorry for what he did, because I don't think he feels sorry. Given the same situation, in the same situation, he did the exact same thing over again. I don't think he has any doubts about that or anybody.
Well, Thomas Davis, he handled it like a pro. I don't know if you saw his tweet. He tweeted right back at him and said, "Hey, listen, I know you're upset. Didn't mean to hurt you. Wasn't trying to hurt you. Wasn't trying to do anything malicious. It was just in the heat of the moment. I'm sorry. I hope everything's okay." That's just paraphrasing what he said, but he was sincere.
I thought that was a scarier hit. The one yesterday.
Right.
I thought Juju Smith, he hit him more into the chest and slid up to his head. This one was pretty direct to the head, and it was a little...
Gronk and Juju getting 1 game. Thomas Davis should only get 1 game.
I think I probably agree with that. I think the suspension should be the same for both plays. Moving on to our last topic of this 2-minute drill. Steelers-Pats in what was probably the game of the year last night, probably. Pats winning that game 27-24 after Big Ben, what looked to be a fake spike. He kind of refuted that in post-game comments, but what looked to be a fake spike, threw it over the middle of the field, got deflected, picked off in the end zone. Worst case scenario, you should leave with a field goal there, and instead they leave with nothing. They leave with an L.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a fake spike.
It certainly looked like one to me. He kind of made the action. But after he's like, no, it wasn't a fake spike. They just were telling me not to clock it. So
went in a downward motion.
Maybe CTE set in. Who knows?
But we're gonna pick up this Steelers-Pats conversation. That was a big game. What that basically means is that the Pats are more than likely going to have home field throughout the playoffs. Meaning, if anybody's going to prevent them from getting to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to win in Foxborough.
I feel like that's big because the Steelers play really well at home. I don't know about them in Foxborough. But at home at Heinz Field, I think they'd be a lot of...
Yeah, when we did our NFL draft a couple weeks ago, I drafted the Steelers. We've had it up on our board ever since we did that draft. And I'm going to explain this later, but I've never felt more confident about that pick. And so that has been the 2-minute drill. This is the Sports Room, the sports show that actually talks about sports. So let's pick up that conversation, the Steelers-Pats. Let's get into the big storyline, really. The most controversial play from that whole game was the catch, no catch at the end. Juju Smith-Schuster goes on this what was like a 60-yard run, gets him down to inside the 10-yard line. There's under a minute left. The Steelers get down there, run a play. Big Ben completes it over the middle to Jesse James, who clearly catches it, extends the ball out over the goal line, and then in the process of coming down, kind of lost control of the ball a little bit. And after it was initially called a touchdown, after review, they call it an incomplete pass. Now, I'm gonna start this conversation by doing this. I'm gonna read to you a list of things, and I'm gonna tell you why in just a second. But I'm gonna read to you this list of things. Okay.
Okay.
First, hydrostatic equilibrium. The state in which the force of gravitation working to crush a star is exactly balanced by the thermal pressure of its hot gas pushing outwards. Number 2, quasi-hyperbolic discounting. The discounted utility approach states that intertemporal choices are no different from other choices, except that some consequences are delayed and hence must be anticipated and discounted. Number 3, centripetal acceleration. Consider an object moving in a circle of radius r with constant angular velocity. The tangential speed is constant, but the direction of the tangential velocity vector changes as the object rotates. And fourth and final, arbitrary constant of integration. If a function is defined on an interval and is an antiderivative of, then the set of all antiderivatives of is given by functions where c is an arbitrary constant, meaning that any value for c makes a valid antiderivative. So, do you know what that list is? Let me explain to you what that list is. That is a list of things.
Words I don't.
That is a list of things that I understand with greater clarity than what is a catch in the NFL.
Clever.
Dead serious.
That's nice.
Very clever.
If that wasn't a touchdown catch last night, then I don't know what is. I mean, they have this rule, and I've heard all Mike Pereira, who used to be the VP of officiating for the NFL, and all the guys who played are all saying that this was the right call to make. And maybe it was, given the letter of the law. Okay, but if that's not a catch, and if what Calvin Johnson did wasn't a catch, I think the Des Bryant one's a little more iffy. But if those aren't catches, then I don't know what's a catch, really. I mean, when I was watching the replay, I thought they were replaying, they were reviewing if he got the ball across the goal line before his knee hit down. And I watched it 5 times and never once realized that that's what they were reviewing that play for. And it was just I couldn't believe that. So if that wasn't a catch, I don't know what is. I understand everything that I just said. I understand those things with greater clarity than what is a catch in today's NFL.
Yeah, I feel you, because I don't really understand what a catch is either. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the headline judge's rationale today on why he made that call, but one of the reasons was when he hit the ground, the ball started to come loose. Now, to my understanding, the ground can't cause a fumble in the NFL, right?
Right.
So, his knee is down, he has possession of the ball, and now he's stretching forward. So the fact that he has the ball in his hands now, the play is dead. It's over. It's done. He reached over the plane. That's a touchdown. He hits the ground. The ball wiggles loose. Ground can't cause a fumble. That's a touchdown. And it's a catch. So I don't know what these refs saw last night, but it infuriated me, and I'm not a fan of either team.
I don't know if it's a catch or not based on whatever criteria you go by. All I know is that when they established this rule, I'm pretty sure the Calvin Johnson one was the first.
That was the first big controversial one.
Well, that's the thing is it was one that would give the Lions the lead or something, and then the Des Bryant thing. So once they called the Calvin Johnson catch a no catch, they basically backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
With all of these calls, saying you have to survive. The ball has to survive the ground. Like when you watch the Calvin Johnson one, he goes down. He's got the ball in one hand. He puts it down, and it falls out of his hands once it hits the ground. So if they're saying that that's not surviving the ground, then according to their specific definition, neither is this one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that share our same sentiment. Like, if that's not a catch, then they don't understand what is and what's not a catch, because the rule is so. I don't even know what the right. It's not specific.
It's cloudy.
It's gray. They wanted to make it black and white. And I don't feel like they've done that. Let me propose to you a simple solution to this problem. This is what the catch no catch rule should clearly state. It is a catch in the NFL if you have the ball and complete any action with it. You've caught the ball.
Simple.
You know what I mean? Okay, so for example, last night in the Steelers game, he catches the ball and then his action was reaching it over the goal line.
Yep.
He has clearly caught the ball and is performing an action with said ball. Therefore, that is a touchdown. That's why I think the Des Bryant one is. That's where it could still be iffy, because he didn't clearly make an action with the ball.
So he
was kind of getting tackled.
I'm watching the Des Bryant one right now, and he clearly has the ball in his left arm like he's holding it, reaching for the end zone.
Right. And so, I haven't seen that play in a long time, so I might be wrong about that. But what it wouldn't include, obviously, is like a diving catch. If you're diving and you lose control of the ball, like you have it for a moment and then you lose control of it, that'll be an incomplete pass because you did not perform any action with the ball. Right. Did I just solve all of the NFL's problems with that?
They say you have to make a football move. They say you have to make a football move.
That's most of it. That's pretty much. I've heard college.
They say that. I just don't know that they follow it.
I don't think they follow it because they didn't follow it in the Patriots-Steelers game. They didn't.
Look, I heard Mike Pereira say this morning that it was because he went to the ground that the ball had to, quote, survive the ground.
So this one right here, Des Bryant catches the ball, and as he's going down, he's reaching out for the end zone. Calvin Johnson.
I think that's an action. When Calvin Johnson's, he clearly, he caught the ball in the air, went down, hit the ground. In the end zone, it's a touchdown. He's moving to get up, and when he dropped the ball.
This one, the Calvin Johnson one, it's interesting because he puts his arm down, and once his bottom hits, he reaches out his other hand, and that's where the ball gets knocked loose. So I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I would rather have him call these catches because if you go back to all these before the booth reviews, how many of these big calls would have been taken away in the history of the NFL? It's not a catch.
A bunch of them.
I would love that if they went back and looked at some of these super iconic plays, like some of Lynn Swann's catches in Super Bowls or the Immaculate Reception, that kind of thing, and say, okay, that should not have been a complete pass. And I don't know if you've watched the ESPN 30 for 30 convicts versus Catholics versus convicts.
Yep.
That play on the goal line, I can't remember the Miami running back. I thought that was clearly a touchdown. And had there been review back then, that would have been a touchdown, but instead it was called a fumble. And, so review has changed the game, changed the way that the football is played and officiated. And in no way has it been more prevalent or more clear than in the catch versus no catch. Yeah. Because I thought about this for maybe an hour or two today, and I just solved all of the NFL's problems. You can call it the Bubba rule if you want.
One thing I've noticed, I was watching the Panthers-Packers game. Did either of you guys watch that game?
Yes. Oh, yes.
The very end of that game, Aaron Rodgers completes a pass over the middle, and the ball gets knocked out of the receiver's hands for a fumble. Carolina recovers. Game's over. If you watch that play, they reviewed that play to see if it was a catch. He caught the ball, and he took 2 steps. So he caught it, and as he was turning with his 2 steps, the ball got knocked loose.
So they called it a fumble?
They called it a fumble, and that's where I don't really necessarily understand any difference. Because it
shouldn't be any different.
Because he caught it, and he was taking 1 step, and as he turned and took the 2nd step, the ball got knocked loose after his 2nd step. And I don't see much difference between that one and the Steelers.
There shouldn't be any different. That should be no difference, really, because the only thing I guess that would be different is that instead of that being an incomplete pass in the Steelers game, instead of that being an incomplete pass, which is what they called it, it would have been a catch and a fumble.
Right.
You know what I mean? But instead they called it an incomplete pass. It wasn't like he made this diving catch. He caught it straight up, turned, and extended the ball to the goal line. And so as long, to me, as you perform an action with the ball in your hands, you've caught it. You've caught the ball. It comes down to a simple definition of the word catch.
Catch.
You know what I mean? Once you've caught it, you've caught it. And everything after that.
My thing is, how does somebody catch a ball, tuck it in their arm, and then hit the ground and listen to say you didn't catch it? Like it was in your,
right. In your arm. What I mean, it's clear. It's like, let's open up Webster's dictionary and see what is catch. What is the definition of catch? Because if that's not what a catch is, then you should change.
Thing is, they ruined it themselves from calling these initially no catches, which is what they did. But my biggest issue with this is it's taking away from the game. Like, these players are making a great play, and they're going for that extra effort, and then because the ball gets bounced loose after they hit the ground, no catch, just takes away. It kind of takes away from the game.
Totally agree. I think the less that you notice what a ref does in a game, the better.
Yeah.
Not only was that super noticeable, did you guys see what happened in the freaking
sub? Yeah, I watched the Cowboys Raiders.
Cowboys Raiders. That's what I'm talking about.
Raiders.
The guy with when Gene Steratore put that index card down there to the
Classic.
side.
Man, that was some garbage.
Classic.
Hot garbage.
He was laughing.
Yeah,
he was
laughed.
trying not to laugh.
You could see his face when the camera panned back up to him after he's gonna. You could see that
he could barely hold it in.
He was
it's like he just slipped out a little far.
But that was huge. That was huge.
That was
For the
huge.
course
And
of that game.
it was wrong.
Jack Del Rio couldn't believe it, and I don't blame him.
Is that written somewhere, or did he just be like, I'm just
I
going to
feel
pull
like
this
he
car out?
improvised.
Well, I read a
Michael
headline on somewhere that said that the NFL had stated that was okay, like that he
Previously
didn't.
or after?
No, after the fact that he said that.
I'm
he
sure
hadn't done anything
after,
wrong.
like they're gonna.
What they say
Because it
before,
makes
though.
sense. Like, what is he doing? He's like sticking but why'd he fold it in half? I don't know. But he sticks an index card in there. Because he's like, oh yeah, it touches first down.
I mean, I don't understand how you couldn't have just seen that though.
Yeah, you can.
Like,
You can.
not
see
like,
it.
Ty goes to the
look
runner.
directly down the line and say, "Can I see the entire football?"
Yes.
And if the answer is yes, then it's not a first down. You know, if you can see the whole ball in front of the stick, then it's not a first down. Why do you need to stick this card down there,
Man.
Like, I mean, we live in 2017. Okay, the number of things that we can do with technology is limitless. We have unlimited data. We have unlimited text. We have unlimited minutes. When I first got my cell phone, that was a huge deal. If you're going over your minutes, we can record in 1080p, 30 frames per second on a phone that you carry around in your pocket. In 10 minutes, I can get on my computer and email someone or message someone who lives in a different country. And yet, in the NFL, a $9 billion a year company, basically, that's the best we got.
Yeah. Come on.
Where we got this guy coming down here. I got an idea. What do you think that conversation was like with the rest of the refs, guys? I got this idea.
Eureka.
I don't think he talked to him about it. I think he just whipped it out and was like, all
Let's
right,
do this.
Watch this.
I'm going to take out this index card. Fold it in half. Put it down there. If it moves at all, let's just call it a first down.
Call it a first down.
And they all kind of look around. Yeah, okay, let's do that.
It's like that commercial where, you can hear the refs talking through their microphones except it was off. I guarantee that's how the conversation went. Make it look like we're saying something.
It is the Cowboys. Maybe we just stick a card down there and call it good.
I tell you what.
Same thing would happen for the Patriots.
If you're able to stick the folded card between the yard marker and the football, to me, that says it's not a first down. And he clearly stuck it all the way between, got up and smirked. I'm like, okay, he's short by like a micro inch. No, he gave him the first down. And I understand why Jack Del Rio was upset, and I understand why Beast Mode was upset. He went a little far. He was irate. He was about to hit that ref. But I get it. It changed everything. Changed the dynamic of their season.
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable.
Horrid.
So lots of funny stuff that refs are doing. One of these days we're going to have a conversation about all the terrible things.
Have you ever heard the
refs
ref
have done in the past.
calls a penalty on somebody for giving them the business?
I love it when they say that.
He calls a penalty. He's like, personal foul, 71, giving him the business down there. And it's in like a pile where they're all fighting for a fumble.
Not only does he say that, I think I've seen one where he gives like this hand action.
Oh.
Like a giving him the business hand signal.
Giving him the business.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
It's pretty funny.
This
is the Sports Room, the sports show that actually talks about sports. Moving on to the next topic. Late in the afternoon yesterday, Panthers owner Jerry Richardson announced, amid investigation for sexual misconduct and all kinds of lack of institutional control, basically, that he is putting the Panthers up for sale once the last football game of the 2017 season has been played. Almost immediately thereafter, P. Diddy tweeted and released an Instagram video saying that he wanted to buy him. Steph Curry said that he wanted to join him in that bid. I think I read Forbes values the Panthers at like $2.1 billion, I want to say.
Ooh. Somewhere
in there. The values of these sports franchises have gone up so much in the last, I would say, 5 years even. Once the Clippers sold for as much as they did, all values went up. And so big news. That's big news.
Huge.
Change of ownership, and possibly P. Diddy would be the first minority owner in the NFL.
Well,
No.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's more of a pipe dream.
it's big, literally, because
he would need help.
He would need help, definitely. And it's a big step, but we know P. Diddy produced people like Biggie Smalls. So anything is possible with this guy. And Steph Curry just signed that deal, $200 million. Steph Curry got money. Okay, P. Diddy has money, and I know that P. Diddy knows people that have money. You combine all that, you get these people in investing with you. you can buy the team. And look, I don't necessarily like P. Diddy, don't necessarily like what he does, but the guy, he's a smart businessman.
He is.
He makes money. I mean, you see what he's doing with Ciroc. He has a new. He basically just copied Sean John. You got all that, and then the TV show. He basically just copied The Voice, but his new music show that's coming out. He had Making the Band. He had all that stuff, and he was getting paid and still getting paid. So, I think he's good for branding. Will he be good for publicity stunts? It might be a little Trumpish. I don't know.
A little Trumpish.
I feel like I am more against this than anyone else.
I'm for it.
You're against P. Diddy.
Yeah.
All for it.
Owner.
Did you see his Instagram?
He was drunk.
He's like, okay, point one, he was drunk. Other than that, he's like, so if I'm the owner or if I'm whatever, he's like, we're gonna have the best halftime shows, the best music playing at the games, and I'm like, dude, if you bought the Jazz, I could not care less what music you're playing at the game as long as we win.
He also said that the first thing that he'd do would be to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Hey.
Yeah, okay, strike two.
What?
Yeah, like I just don't.
Hey.
I am not.
He said that to be clear, he said that he would sign him
to be a backup.
No, he said he'd sign him with the intent that he'd come in and compete for the starting job.
Yeah.
He would compete, but he wouldn't take the job.
Right.
No way.
And I'll just say this about that. As far as that goes, as a fan, I don't want my owners. All I care about for my ownership is that they spend money producing championships on the field. That's all I'm looking for from owners. I'm not looking for anything else. I don't care if they're any whatever belief that they might have. As long as if you create a winning team on the field, I'm good with that. And so if I'm a Carolina Panthers fan and I hear him say that, I'm not necessarily thrilled about that. Not because he's not a good player. I mean, that's, you could say whatever you want about Kaepernick, the kind of player that he was, or his social activism or whatever. But the reason that he'd be signing him is not for football reasons. And for that reason, I would have beef with that.
Well, and I don't know if you saw his tweet. He's even willing to go another route. He's even willing to buy ownership in the Panthers instead of playing.
Right.
So I would be better with that than Cap being signed because, first of all, people already don't like Cam Newton. And then you sign Kaepernick behind Cam Newton, and then you have P. Diddy as your owner. That is going to be the most hated franchise in all of football.
I don't have as much beef with Cam Newton as some people do.
I love Cam. I love Killer Cam. I do.
My other thing is Steph Curry. That. It's cool that he wants to be a part of his hometown football team.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. It's cool. But my thing is, just
he
play
could not be
basketball.
a professional basketball player and
play basketball, and then, if you retire and that's what you want, fine. But,
I'm pretty sure, but he was old by this point. But Shaq had ownership in the Sacramento Kings while he was playing.
I guess it depends if he's the
majority owner.
Yeah, because they're the ones that are going to be operating day to day.
Yeah.
But, if he just wanted to get a piece of it, I wouldn't care. But he wouldn't be able to contribute very much while he's playing.
I like Diddy as an owner, but if he does, let's just say he does hypothetically get this job, I want him to run it like an owner should. I don't want him running it like a music label, like, oh, no, you didn't do this, you're cut, you're done. No, you can't run it like that. I hope he runs it professionally, and I hope he runs it to win, not to brand an item or another brand.
Right. Sure. That's why I was initially against it, is for those reasons. But, we'll see what the Panthers want.
I'm sure there will be other bidders. There's going to be other people that, want, I don't know. I don't imagine that they'd ever move out of Carolina, but there are going to be other people that are going to be bidding for it. And, I read a story, I think it was Sports Illustrated. I want to give credit where it's due. I believe it was Sports Illustrated that said P. Diddy's net worth is somewhere around $800 million. And so if he spent all of his net worth, he's not even halfway there.
Not halfway there.
He's going to need a lot of help from different investors. I assume, though, that he would want to be the majority owner.
Now, with this move, though, don't be surprised if you see Jay-Z coming out of the woodwork trying to own NFL teams, and don't be surprised if you see LeBron James trying to own an NFL team soon. And I'm calling it, in the next 10 years, LeBron James will own a football team and a basketball team.
If you're LeBron James, are you owning the Cleveland Browns or his Dallas Cowboys?
He is not buying the Cleveland Browns.
Dallas Cowboys.
He's going to buy a team that he'll probably, Jerry Jones is giving that to his son, man. He ain't going to LeBron.
Jerry Jones is never going to die, so he's always going to
live to be 200 years old.
Yeah, interesting story there. It'll be interesting to see if P. Diddy gets. I don't have any beef with him personally. If he wants to, spend his money and buy it, more power to you. But if I'm a fan, all I care about for my owner is that he's willing to spend the money in order to win.
To win.
And for no other reason. I don't want to hear my owners talking about halftime shows and, making any kind of political statement with the people they sign. If you think that Colin Kaepernick's going to help you win, which I don't see how he could, but if you think so, then that's one thing.
Cam gets hurt? Why not?
Cam gets hurt. I don't know. Say what you want about Colin Kaepernick. I think Derek Anderson's probably one of the best backups in the league.
Oh, no.
But, this guy that started for a lot of years.
That's true, though.
We'll call that a warm take.
About Derek Anderson?
Not a hot take, a warm take.
As Derek Anderson, look up his numbers. I'm going to look up his numbers.
Wow, look him up.
And if you look up...
Okay, this is what I'm going to do right now.
Look up...
Biggen wants to talk about Kobe retiring his both numbers. I'm going to toss it over to you, Biggen.
Okay.
You go with this. Derek, you can help him. I'm going to start looking up Derek Anderson's numbers right now.
Just real quick before I go into Kobe, if you looked up Cap's numbers compared to Cam's, Cap was only off by, I believe, like a few thousand yards in total. So wasn't too far behind him when he was at the top of his game. But anyway, moving forward to Kobe Bean Bryant, the Mamba, the GOAT is what some people call him, whatever you want to call him. Talking about Kobe today, D-Money.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Oh, so I just wanted to point out, I don't know if many people remember this. Obviously, I was like 3. But in 96, that was Kobe's rookie season. And I believe he only had 5 or 6 games that whole year where he scored 20 points. He wasn't the Kobe that we're accustomed to seeing now. Got to the playoffs against the Utah Jazz, second round. Kobe airballed the basketball 4 times. 1 in the third quarter and 3 in overtime. Right? And one of the most memorable phrases from Kobe from that night, one of the reporters went and found Kobe. He said, "Kobe, are you doing all right? Are you okay?" And then Kobe basically said, "What? Why wouldn't I be right? Why wouldn't I be all right?" He basically said, "Screw it. Nobody else wanted to take the shot, so I took it." And at that moment, and I'm reading a report right now, it said if Kobe wouldn't have had that moment, he would have never became Kobe Bryant. And I bring this up because Kobe Bryant, both of his jerseys are being retired at Staples Center tonight. And I think it's a monumental moment. As much as I don't like Kobe, I talk to you guys about that all the time. I don't, and I'm a huge Shaq fan. I used to be a big-time Lakers fan back then. I was all about Shaq and Kobe, and then gave my man Shaq the boot, and I was like, curse you, Kobe Bryant. But I guess the question I want to ask is, which Kobe would you rather have? Would you rather have number 8 Kobe Bean Bryant, or do you want number 24, the Black Mamba?
Did he score 81 with the 8?
He scored 81 with the 8,
yeah.
But he was Shaqless with the 24.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on a bad team that year.
He was Shaqless 81 in that 81 season too.
Yeah, they were a bad team that year.
Yeah.
When he scored the 81.
How many rings did he win when he was 24?
He won 2.
3 with Shaq, 2 when he was 24, and then so 5 total.
Huh.
So if you look at the numbers, okay, I'll run down. So they both played 10 seasons. If you split them into 2 different people, 8 played 10, 24 played 10. Number 8, Kobe had 8 All-Star selections. He had 4 first-team All-NBA selections, 3 NBA championships, and was projected 99.8% to get into the Hall of Fame. And then you look at number 24, Kobe, also played 10 seasons, 10 All-Star selections, 7 first-team All-NBA selections, and 2 championships with a 99.9% chance of getting into the Hall of Fame. So not much difference there. So it's kind of hard to really select which Kobe you take.
You're an 8 guy?
I would go 8. Yeah.
What would you take, Darius?
For me, I break it down like it's like a Professor Xavier type deal from the X-Men. You look at the X-Men movies, you go back in time when he had hair and he could walk. He was good, but he was raw. He was raw in his ability. He couldn't really control it. And then you get Professor X when he's bald sitting in that wheelchair. Oh, man, he's a beast. He can do whatever he wants to do. And that's the way I look at Kobe, because Kobe cut the afro off, went bald. He became a little wiser as a player. He became smarter, more efficient. So for me, if I want to win championships, I'm going to take Mamba Kobe.
24. I'd probably take 24. Just for the sake of, I think doing that with Shaq was probably a lot easier than doing that without Shaq. Not that really, makes a difference of whether he got in the Hall of Fame or anything like that. Right. But my only thing is, I wish they would just retire one of his numbers.
One of them.
Like if he changed to number 24, then that was his
24.
choice, and he should just get number 24 retired.
24.
I don't think he should get both. Like, he made the decision to switch to number 24, so he should just get number 24 retired.
Well, they didn't retire 45 for Jordan, so, I mean.
Right.
He played one game or just a couple games as 45.
He played in 12 and 45.
It was smooth.
So, yeah.
45 is smooth.
It was smooth.
I have no problem with them retiring both numbers, to be completely honest. I mean, he had Hall of Fame careers wearing both numbers.
He did.
So what if he wore 8 numbers? Would he have 8 jerseys up there?
If he had a Hall of Fame career wearing each number, then yes.
Well, if he changed his jersey every year, you want 20 different Kobe jerseys in the rafters
of course
at
not,
Staples
because
Center.
you can't put together a Hall of Fame career in one season.
That's true.
I said that for those of you who did not watch on Friday, go watch or listen to our conversation with Chase Sorensen, but we had a debate about MJ and LeBron. And one of my biggest reasons for still backing MJ was because he had this aura of invincibility about him.
Kobe.
And I don't feel that with LeBron. I did feel that with Kobe. I felt that same way with Kobe. And maybe it was because he just perpetually were beating the Jazz in the playoffs, but I just felt like he never lost, even though he did lose. I watched him lose to the Celtics in the finals once.
Pistons.
But I still felt that he just was unbeatable. Like, he just had this killer instinct that he was unbeatable. And, that's what in response to that conversation we had about MJ and Jordan, I had a few people mention that to me, that the only reason you feel like that about MJ is because you didn't watch him when he was losing all those games. I was like, okay, but I still feel that. I felt that way about Kobe. I think, for me personally, he's the best player that I've watched, like, throughout his career, since I've been alive.
Yeah,
he's the best player that I've watched. Vintage Kobe and vintage LeBron, I'd probably take Kobe.
You take vintage Kobe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's. A lot of people would disagree. If Chase was here, he would be lighting me up.
You know what?
But I think just because.
But Kobe had a jump shot back then. LeBron didn't. When LeBron came in the league, LeBron had the brokest jumper in America. He could not shoot to save his life. He had a couple big jumpers to win games, but he couldn't shoot. Kobe could do it all at a young age. He wasn't only a slasher, he could shoot. He could do it all. And I think that's another reason why I choose 24 Kobe, because you look at number 8. Okay, number 8 had a big ego after that first championship with Shaq. They won the second championship. His ego's even better because, Shaq was the MVP every year, averaged 30 points a game in the finals, and Kobe was just underneath him, 29.9. So Kobe's like, I'm really the best player on this team. But I feel like number 24 Kobe would have been like, okay, yes, I do feel like I'm the best player on this team, but I also feel like Shaquille O'Neal is the best chance I have to surpass Michael Jordan and Bill Russell for rings. And if you ask me, Shaq and Kobe stay together personally, I see 8 rings in their future.
I just think that Kobe's one player.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't have his name twice in the rafters. Just give him 24.
24 and then put /8.
Yeah, do something. One name. I don't want 2 jerseys.
I think I understand why you feel that way, but I don't have any problem with it.
I don't, but I get what Derek is saying for sure.
All right, you guys ready for some numbers on Derek Anderson?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I know you guys have been waiting for this.
Feed me.
All right, and I took the liberty of comparing them to Colin Kaepernick.
Please.
Because I felt like that was what you wanted.
Yes.
So, first of all, little-known fact probably, Colin Kaepernick has never been to a Pro Bowl.
Never?
Derek Anderson has, in fact, been to a Pro Bowl. In 2007, the only year that he was the everyday starter for the Cleveland Browns. And listen to this. And put this in context. He played for the Cleveland Browns as a starter. He started 15 games that year. He went 10-5 for the Browns. Okay? In Colin Kaepernick's best season, he threw 21 touchdowns.
Yeah.
In Derek Anderson's best season, 29.
Ooh.
In Colin Kaepernick's best season, he threw for 3,300 yards. In Derek Anderson's Pro Bowl season, he threw for 3,700. Colin Kaepernick's highest QBR for an entire season was 98.3. That was in 2012. Derek Anderson's 118.7.
Wow.
And so I'm just saying these things. I mean, there's obviously there are stats.
How old is Derek Anderson?
He's pretty old. I don't know exactly his age. He's in his late 30s.
I would take other backups. I would rather take A.J. McCarron.
Oh no.
Well, sure.
Over. Are you talking about like?
I'm talking about
career-wise.
He's a good backup. Is what but the point that I'm making.
I don't know if he is now though.
But let's say your starting quarterback is done for the year. Is he the type of backup that can carry you deep into the playoffs?
Like,
he took the Browns to 10-6. I don't know how much more impressive you can get. Would you
rather have Nick Foles backing up Carson Wentz this year or Derek Anderson?
Nick Foles.
Well, obviously Nick Foles. I'm not saying that he's the best backup in the league. I might have said that, and if I did, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that he is a good backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, his career numbers are better than Colin Kaepernick's career numbers. And so my only beef with Diddy wanting to bring Kaepernick in is that if he's trying to make some kind of political statement, then I got beef with that because I want you to produce a winning team on the field. And I'm not saying that can't happen with Kaepernick back there, but I am saying that should be his main focus, is putting together a Super Bowl winning team.
The only excuse I give Cap for throwing only 21 touchdowns his best season is he ran the other 50% of the time. So I think the running is what kind of took away from that. But
that's a good point.
The numbers don't lie. But at the end of the day, Cap's been to 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, he has.
With no Pro Bowl selections. I don't understand that.
I was pretty surprised by that, too. And I was surprised that Derek Anderson had been to one. But he has.
Oh, no.
He has.
Well, can't knock the man.
So, any final thoughts on that?
Final thoughts on that?
Or just a good definition to the Kobe conversation?
No, I've never liked Kobe, ever.
Yeah, I hated Kobe.
Yeah, I
would probably say, like,
he broke my heart.
To myself, I thought of myself as the biggest Kobe hater that there was.
I think he's one of the most hateable players.
But he was,
most
like,
Jazz
obviously,
fans.
like, when the Jazz threw that, like, when he came to Utah for that, his final game in Utah, and the Jazz gave him a tribute video, I was like, oh, come on. I hate this guy. And the other Laker fans cheering, and I'm like, where are we? Like, this is not
LA?
right. But give him, he deserves it. Give him 1 jersey. Let's not give him 2 to hang from the Staples Center.
Granted, the Jazz, I went and saw a game, it was, I think, 2 years before he had the Achilles injury. And me and my dad got pretty good seats, and I got to watch Kobe play live. The dude was amazing, but I have never heard more people in my life boo one person than at the Vivint Smart Home Arena. They booed that man so unruly, and he still dropped 30-plus, but they booed him like crazy.
That's why I hate him, because the more you hate him, the better he plays.
The better he plays.
And it's rare. That's just rare nowadays. The kind of attitude, the mentality that he played with, you just don't see that anymore.
No, that was the last of a dying generation, and Vince Carter and Dirk need to go ahead and die with him because they're getting too old.
Yeah, and last thing to cover while we're just on the Jazz real quick, beat the Celtics. Gordon Hayward wanted him to beat him by 40.
By 40.
Nah. Oh, that felt nice. And Gobert didn't play most of that game. Derek Favors didn't play most of that game.
Stick,
but we still
Gordy.
beat him. Come at me, bro. This has been The Sports Room, the sports show that actually talks about sports. Thanks so much for listening, watching. You can follow us on Twitter @_thesportsroom_. Same handle for Instagram. Email us if you'd like @thesportsroomtalkshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'll be back on Friday, getting ready for a big weekend. Any last comments?
Go Cougs, go Jazz.
Peace out, my dudes.
See ya.